Someone do an intro quick.
I thought you're the one that's doing the intro.
Manu, do it again. You did such a good job last week.
No,
You
absolutely
have to keep
not.
doing this until you get better.
No, I will leave. This will be my final episode.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
No, I refuse.
Wait, let me see if my Xbox toy works in the mic. Hold on. Let me know if you hear this.
Kind of.
It sounds really terrible.
Yeah, it sounds
hold
terrible.
on. That's the OG Xbox starting up, and now hold on.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
That's
all right,
pretty
let's
badass.
go.
Yeah.
That's
Energy
it.
back.
All
Let's
right.
go.
This is
All right.
why I want the 360 one. I'm like curious as to if they're gonna have another gaming reference after the intro sound. But even if they don't, I mean, they're so well made.
So it's not like an ornament?
Of all things. It's literally a tree ornament. I just didn't bother I didn't tie the string to it. But I'm like, this thing is supposed to go on a tree. Like it's too cool for that. I'm not just gonna.
It's the coolest thing.
It's the coolest thing in my entire life. I told my daughter, I said, "Get out of here. You're not this cool."
I mean, you got to build a bear. So how was that experience?
Honestly, dude, I was not expecting it to be as packed as it was. We got there right as it opened.
Mm-hmm.
So like whatever, a few people in the store still for 10 a.m. on a Sunday, and then we finish up there. We leave. We go across the hall into the Old Navy that's there, and then as I'm coming out of the Old Navy, I look and Build-A-Bear is fucking banging, and like all the other stores, there's nothing, but Build-A-Bear for some reason is packed.
Yeah,
like, I didn't realize it was this popular.
Yeah, and what's surprising, it's not just like kids; it's like grown-ass adults coming in and building one as well.
I mean, whatever, man. Look, if Labubu can get these people into a fucking frenzy, then I don't see why Build-A-Bear can't. But for something that's been around as long as it has, and like it's like I've heard of Build-A-Bear, yeah, and I think for a while they were open here in Quebec too. Before I think they all got shut down because nobody cared.
They're also kind of expensive for what they are, but
well, I mean, in this case, not really, right? Because if it's a kid's birthday month, then the bear costs whatever their age is. Right. So in this case, I walked out after paying $1 and like whatever cents for the bear.
Because like last year or the year before that, my girlfriend and I went to go to Build-A-Bear, and just because for shits and giggles, and like we made one, and then that chick kind of costly. It wasn't our birthday month, so I guess
you should have won on your birthday.
Did you get like accessories and all that stuff for it?
We did, yeah. We got like the Harry Potter themed accessories for it.
Well,
yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I was tempted because they had a Batman cape and like cowl and stuff that you can get for the bear, and I was like, yo, if this becomes your favorite toy, it's a Batman bear, I'd be very okay with it.
You were contemplating just taking the toy for yourself.
Honestly, I was like, if you're not gonna play with it, you can give it here.
You could have. I think you could have also gotten like a voice box.
There's inside the bear and so it's either we pay $1 for the bear and it ends there. Hey, I'm a poet. Or you pay. I think the bundle is like $30 or $40, and you get to choose like 2 accessories or something, like a top and a bottom, and you can record the message and all that stuff. And it's like, honestly, these bears are big enough that when she outgrows her current clothes, we can put those on the bear.
That's fair. Yeah,
it's cute.
So like, why am I spending like $20 on that Batman cowl? Like, it's cool, but I'm not.
So are you planning on getting one every year, making it a tradition?
I don't know, man. That's what my wife, I think, is thinking, and in my view, I'm just sort of like, how many bears do we need? She's already got so many other toys. Like there's the Winnie the Pooh that you got her from Disney. There's, I think, also that Donald Duck sort of, what are they called? What are those squishy round ones?
Squishmallows?
Yeah, I think it's a Squishmallow that you had. Anyways, there's that among all the other, stuffed animals and stuff that she already has from various gifts and whatnot. So I'm just like, we'll see. If the Build-A-Bear becomes like her favorite thing and she loves to carry it around, then I'm down to maybe go and like get her another one next year. I mean, whatever, $2 next year for the bear. Like, who cares, right? But
I mean, it'd be fun if you brought her when she's like old enough to kind of remember this and like even can enjoy the experience of building, because they do like make it very immersive for the kids and for the adults, I guess, that are going.
Dude, that staff over there are fucking super into their job.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's kind of like creepy the level of happy that is displayed in that. No, but like for real. It's just I get it, right? It's the nature of the store, and there's lots of kids that come in, so it's like being inside of like a children's cartoon, and these guys are like hosting a show. You know what I mean? Like if a Miss Rachel had a retail store, this would be it, and you're walking into it. Like that's how these people act.
I mean,
And
it kind of makes
if
sense. So it's like going
if
to Disney. It's
well,
about
yeah, that's what I'm
selling the
saying.
experience.
yeah,
If that's how you feel about Build-A-Bear, your mind's gonna be blown when you go to
Yeah.
Disney.
I mean, yeah, but Disney, I guess I already have that expectation, whereas I didn't for the Build-A-Bear. I kind of was like, I'm sure they'll be, you know, smiley and whatnot, but I didn't expect like this level
Hmm.
of sort of just, children's interactiveness level, whatever you want to call it. Part of me is like, I kind of want to just get you all in the back and we all just kind of hit it blunt. And I want to see what you're like outside of this persona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to hear one of you say like, "Oh man, just fuck those kids." You know what I mean? Like
Christ.
just I need to know what you're like when you walk out that door and your shift is over.
I think that's why I kind of enjoyed like making a lightsaber when I went to Disney, because it's like it's a very immersive, it's a very like hands-on experience, and even like the people that are there helping you through it, they're really like they're fully like acting as if they're a part of that world.
How
You
much
kind
was
of
your
like suck,
lightsaber?
about $250.
Oh,
But it's like you guys held it. It's like
I
there's like
didn't hold it. I haven't even
Oh.
seen it.
oh, okay, well when you come Hoppy movie, you'll see it. It's
Watch me just like break it by mistake.
please don't.
Don't hold the saber too hard.
You'll need both hands to hold it.
Yeah,
Oh
seriously.
my god, that's so much money on top of just like in an isolated situation. It's a lightsaber is really cool, fine, but it's kind of like it's at the Disney parks. You're basically paying for the privilege or whatever of paying for a lightsaber.
Yeah, but it's like
there is the experience as well attached to making the lightsaber as well. I have to
exactly,
admit.
and it's not like you
I
can't
get
really
that, but
compare it
again,
to like a
it's-
flimsy Walmart toy, for instance.
I'm not questioning the quality of the saber.
Right.
I'm just saying it's like you're paying so that you can pay to make this saber. You get what I'm saying? Because you can only make it in the Disney park, right?
Yes.
So you got to
But then
pay to get into the
how's-
park and then pay to go. You know what I mean? Like it's just I get that there's no other way. Like it's all
but
part
like
of
how's
it.
it different
I
than like going to
understand
a
that.
convention, for instance, and like
And then
where
what?
you can and like paying to buy shit there you can't really find anywhere else.
I mean, theoretically, wouldn't I be able to just buy it straight from the artist if they have their own website or something? Like the option exists. When you're going
Not
to a
always.
convention, you're paying for the convenience of sort of having all of that in one place.
He's got a point.
Fair.
For once, I'm making sense. I think the creatine's kicking in, boys.
All right. So as usual, what are we playing, guys? This is a gaming podcast. We do play games.
Great segue.
You're playing with your lightsaber, I guess.
I honestly, I'm not really playing much else. So
Guys,
yeah, I
Hollow
guess-
Knight is a fucking amazing game. Holy shit, dude. Like I'm
took you how long?
almost angry at all three of you for not fucking asking me to play this game at any point.
We have.
I'm sure
we'll
we'll
talk
talk
about
on
the
a
game.
The only
yearly
reason I
basis.
touched it now is because of that 3x3 episode where you were like, it's really good. And then I was like, fine. I've heard about this game a lot. And I know it's very good. But for it to be one of your top 9 or whatever, I'm like, okay, it's on sale. It was like $10 on Steam. Let me go check it out. Jesus Christ. This game. I'm playing it every fucking night. I could die a bunch. And then I'll be like, all right, fuck this. I don't want to walk the 20 miles back to wherever I was previously because I just feel like there's a distinct lack of benches or fast travel points. But do that gripe aside, like this game is so good.
It is fun watching someone else play and then like comparing skill levels, because like this past Monday game night, Manu and I were watching Taz play, and then there's this one boss, like the mage. And Manu was like, oh yeah, this boss gave me such a hard time. Took him forever to beat him. And I think you beat him in your second try.
Yeah.
A lot of bosses, not to toot my own horn, but so far there's been no one that I haven't been able to beat with
Which is surprising,
without
'cause
max
you're-
2 tries.
You're always complaining about the difficulty of these games. Yet every time I see you play, like I remember seeing you play Sekiro. I remember seeing you play Elden Ring. I'm pretty sure, and I've seen you play Hollow Knight. And
I'm definitely gonna give Elden Ring another try because I think my block with games like Elden Ring is knowing that once I'm dead, I also lose all the souls or whatever that I've
Mm.
accumulated. And then I have to go back and get it. And if it's in some like messed up area and all the enemies are regenerated, then it's like an extra obstacle. Now I'm like, great, not only do I not have souls, but to get back the amount that I have to go through all of this again. And it's sort of just this like that pattern for some reason just bothers me.
It just teaches you to
Be more
not
careful.
blindly run in.
I
is all.
understand that. And I think I'm starting to kind of come around to that idea. And I guess also just be like, well, at the end of the day, if you can basically finish this game without ever even technically leveling up, like obviously I'm not to that skill level, but
Mhm.
if the possibility is there, then I guess I should be able to get it done. But, but then it's also like, do I have the time to even get to that point? Because, I'm playing like an hour a night, right? And for something like Hollow Knight, it's not like the map is insanely massive and it's sort of whatever. I can skip over a lot of the enemies if I want to, but even then, again, it's not a big map. So
Right. You don't want
my
to spend like 50 minutes making progress and only for you to die. Then you have 10 minutes to get.
that's kind of what it is. And it's like, and again with Hollow Knight, another thing is like, okay, fine, even if you're dying to certain enemies or a boss, it's not like you're super far off and you can learn the pattern. But with Elden Ring, I find like just even sometimes getting back to it. But I guess they have shortcuts, right? Like kind of like
Mhm.
all Souls games do. Like I don't know, there's just a block there, and sometimes I'm just like not willing to kind of go through all of it to learn the patterns. But it's a game that I keep looking at, and I'm like, I kind of want to get back to it and try it again. And I don't know, maybe after Hollow Knight I might, but then I also have Final Fantasy on the back burner that I should try to maybe start.
Which
But
one?
anyways,
16.
no, I finished 16
Yeah, you finished
on
16.
6, I think is what I bought during the Steam sale.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. I am
Let me just
loving
make
it.
sure. No, 9. Sorry.
That is my favorite Final Fantasy game. It is
I
funny.
just I recently watched
Yeah.
Catherine like finish it, and it's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's Final Fantasy 9, and then I bought 7 Rebirth when it came out on PC, and I have yet to even install it.
I
So
need these Final Fantasy games to click with me because I want to play them. I've heard nothing but positive things about them, but it's just it hasn't
honestly,
made me want to play them.
7 remake, it's not even like I was blown away by it. Like, yeah, it looked great
Hmm.
and everything, but people seemed to really like the battle system, and I despised it because I was like, either be action or be turn based. I don't know what the fuck this is, and I'm tired of having to manage these characters and the materia and all that. Like, the battle system did not click with me. So I just put that game on easy, and I was like, I just need to get to the end of this just to say that, yeah, I got done with it.
Apparently, it
And
does
then for
get
some reason, I
better.
bought Rebirth.
Yeah, apparently it does get better in Rebirth. I've heard a lot of people complain about the battle system in Remake, and then by the time they start playing Rebirth, Rebirth, it starts to click, and it starts to make more sense.
Like, I really hope someone at Square yeah, on like a decision making level played Expedition and is like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this is actually sort of something that we want to continue to try and do, and or just do again, because man, 16 was a great game, but that is by no means an RPG. Like, it's basically Devil May Cry. I mean, they got the guy that did the fight the fighting for Devil May Cry to come in and do it for this game. So like it makes sense that that comparison is there, but like yeah, that was just a action RPG through and through.
Talking about Hollow Knight, did you like how far are you into the game? Like, do you have any like a favorite area in Hollow Knight so far, or are you still like at the beginning?
I just finished Crystal Peak.
Mm, okay.
I don't know. It's hard to say how far you are, right? Because I think a lot of it is sort of like you can do certain things in different order.
Yeah,
Like I think I killed the
Yeah,
Mantis Lords way earlier than I was supposed to, and so I think right now I'm in Deep Nest or whatever it's called. I'm back there. Like I don't
okay,
know. I'm kind
you're.
of going into different places to try and just see what happens and what
I,
the last power up that I unlocked lets me now get to.
Okay.
I think you're more than 50. I think you're more than halfway done with the
Like
game, right? April?
60, 70%.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think
it
the
also depends
last.
if you're gonna do some of the added content like the Pantheon and all
I
that
mean, if
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it to the same extent that I am now, when I get to that point, that I might actually go for that. The last major power up that I got is the the flight, I guess, where you like hold L and then
Mm.
you fly forward like
Oh,
across
right.
all the big gaps.
I
Yeah,
thought that was one of the last abilities that I unlocked. So
Yeah.
if
He might.
unless you're like doing some extras content, you're probably close to being done with the game.
I don't know because I have that. I have the upward blast. I have the downward blast. Uh, I don't
Are
know. I don't
you
know if there's like a double jump you get at some point. Like I feel like you should get one because sometimes there's areas that I'm like I don't see
Hmm.
how I can get to this without a double jump or an upward boost, which I don't have either. But
are
Have
you
you?
planning on looking to see if you can fight the true radiance? I guess like the true final boss of the game. Because there
I
are
don't
some
know.
extra steps you have to take just to get to that.
Again, it depends on how long it takes me to complete the game, what that difficulty spike looks like, all those other bosses, and if I'm
Mhm.
willing, because I got other stuff I want to play too. I still have Red Dead sitting there, and I want to get back to it, but it's like, it's the same complaint, right? Where that game is sort of such slow pacing that I'm like, I have an hour, I know I can make progress in Hollow Knight, whereas in Red Dead with 1 hour, I may or may not get anywhere. So I feel like Red Dead is kind of that's the block right now, and that's why I haven't made progress. So like I kind of want to get back to that. Uh, Also been
But
playing
you're
Tony
also playing
Hawk.
Tony. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say like if you're playing Hollow Knight, have you given Tony Hawk like a fair
yeah. I'm
chance?
I'm
Like, have
like
you
kind of
played?
playing them in tandem. Honestly, like I'll play like an hour and a half of Hollow Knight, and then I'll switch into Tony Hawk afterwards just to kind of do a couple of goals before bed.
So I'm also
And
playing Tony Hawk. Have you played just the third one, or did you jump into the fourth
I
one?
just jumped into 4, so I finished
Oh,
3.
okay, okay.
So I did all the levels and all the goals for 3. I think there's only like a couple of little things I need to do, like unlocking, like finding attribute points or whatever. I think I'm missing like 2 or 3. Um, and then I started Tony Hawk 4,
What do you
which
think of the change in Tony Hawk 4? Because I mean, I read online that some people were not happy because Tony Hawk 4 was an open-ended, open-world game, and with the
yeah,
time limit, it kind of limits it. Like, how do
maybe,
you
but I
feel
just I
about?
set the limit to an hour, literally, and
Okay,
then
yeah, okay.
like
So
I don't know
yeah.
what more you need than that. I mean, you have an hour to complete your goals, which is literally way more than you probably do need if you kind of know where things are or you have like a relative sort of comfort level with Tony Hawk. Um, so basically, the timer becomes moot at that point.
I
Uh,
agree. I mean, I'm playing the third one right now, and yeah, I was gonna say, like, I actually love the fact that they added those options in the game. I think they call it like game mods or something like that, and then you can up the time limit from 2 minutes, which I think is not enough time,
I
to
definitely, yeah. So I appreciate that.
yeah.
That you can just sort of set it to an hour and be like, okay, I'm not going to bother the 2 minutes. I can do all the goals, do what I want. The other thing I really, really, really appreciate is there's actual secret characters in this game that you can unlock very easily that you don't have to pay for.
Hmm.
So they have, I think Doom Guy, you had to get the deluxe edition, but off the bat, I know that you can get Michelangelo from that last animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie,
Dude,
and
I
like
can't wait.
being able
Yeah.
to skate around as him. And like I didn't have to pay for him. He's just in the game and he costs next to nothing. So you do a couple of missions and you can buy him right away. And then there's I think one other character from the Doom universe, and then there's Officer Dick or some shit like that, played by Jack Black. So, that kind of stuff, and a lot of clothes you can unlock and a lot of customization options, and they're all like sort of reasonably priced with the in-game currency, so you're not having to like fucking grind your ass off to buy a pair of pants, you know?
No microtransactions. Yeah.
What's
Um
the difference between the third one and the fourth one? Like, is there one that you guys gravitate towards?
I kind of I prefer 3, but that's only because I played it a lot more than I did play 4. Main difference is it's I think the level size. 4 the levels are a lot larger because it was made because so the structure from Tony Hawk 1, 2, and 3 is you start a level, you have a list of goals, and you have 2-minute runs to complete as many goals as you can. And so because the run is 2 minutes long, the levels are kind of tight and focused and they're small. With 4, they made it open world. So the timer, I'm pretty sure they had gotten rid of it entirely. So now it's the big level. You can go talk to people to get some goals, and then you just kind of do them at your leisure. So level size and goal structure is the biggest difference between the two. But they play relatively identical now. Like any additions they had made in Tony Hawk 4, you can also play them in the 3 remake. Like it's just sort of your skater skates the same. The only difference between 3 and 4 when you're picking the game in the menu is the levels. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like I remember growing up, like Taz played a lot of 2 and 3, right? So like even me, I was kind of gravitating towards Tony Hawk 3, also because it's 3 and 4, so I decided to play with 3 first. But so far, like I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I upped it to 60 minutes just so I can enjoy the levels and not have to worry about, not getting the high score or not getting the secret videotape in under 2 minutes. The soundtrack is also really great. I know. I also things that I've read online, people were saying like, oh, they did the soundtrack like it was an injustice, but I'm like, well, maybe they
these
couldn't get the license
people
for it.
these people
But the
need to
soundtrack
just
is, yeah,
honestly shut up.
chill. Yeah, yeah,
They need to
yeah.
shut the fuck up, because this game, once
It's
upon a
great.
time, was never ever going to release.
Yeah,
There was zero chance of this game releasing, and now we're finally getting it. And you're all complaining about the soundtrack, and I get that soundtracks are a big part of the Tony Hawk games. I fully understand that, but even the new tracks that they've added are very good. It's not just like
100%.
random crappy tracks. You have artists like Kendrick and you have Lupe Fiasco, and these are very good, very relevant songs to the context of the Tony Hawk world. So, fine, you don't have the same songs you had originally back in the day, but you're still getting some very good tracks that you should definitely give a chance. So,
Yeah,
like,
it's
just
it's a
stop
licensing
complaining
thing.
about that. Because if I had
Yeah,
to choose between having the original soundtrack and not getting the fucking game, or getting a game that has a couple of different songs, obviously obvious choice is getting this game, because this game is great. It plays fantastic. It is just super super fun, and the online works very very well as well. It's not like laggy or crappy or anything. Like, they make you make an Activision account, which annoys me, but like that aside, it's a fantastic remake, and it plays very well. It has they nailed the physics and the spirit of Tony Hawk and everything. Like, no, I got zero complaints.
wait, sorry, before we move on, but like you mentioned the online aspect, can you, like, does that mean you could skate with other people, or is it you're competing with other people
Both.
getting the higher score?
Both. So there's free skate, where you're just on a level, and there's other people that are just doing their thing as well. Or you can do competitive,
Oh, nice.
who can do the highest combo, who can get the highest score in a set amount of time, so on. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah. So I'm actually playing Tony Hawk as well. So just copy paste whatever Taz said. I've been playing the past 2 weeks. I've been playing The Alters, and honestly, it's to me it's one of the most original games I've touched in a very long time. I don't know if you guys saw gameplay for this, or maybe it just kind of passed under the radar. But I was gonna pick it up for Fantasy Critic, and I missed it by like 2 days. And then it got like really like it got like high 80 scores, and I didn't really know what the game was about. But essentially, just to kind of paint a picture, you play as a character called Jan Dolsky. He's a lone worker who's stranded on a hostile planet after a crash. You don't know what happened. You don't know how you crashed. And the core objective is super simple. You have to survive, and you have to deliver this sample of a critical energy back on Earth. Um, but the premise of the game is really wild because while he's kind of working in this planet, he discovers a technology that lets him create alters. And alters are actually alternate versions of himself that are drawn from different life choices that he could have made. So, for example, if he had graduated and if he had, pursued his studies, he could have been a scientist. So you can actually unlock a scientist alter. You can unlock a miner, a medic, a botanist, an engineer, and it's pretty cool because again it's like it's him, it's an alternate version of him, so he basically ends up creating a team of his own parallel selves, and you need them to survive. And obviously what differentiates this game is, again, it's a sci-fi game. It's base management, so we're talking about resource management, base management. There's sci-fi in there, there's action in there. It's a whole like melting pot of genre. So, and what I like about these alters is that they're not just tools. Like, they have memories, they have feelings, and they have individual perspectives. So some of them, they even question your decisions. So sometimes you're like, oh hey, like, because essentially in the game you wake up and you're able to work until, let's say, 7 p.m., because then what happens if you stay outside long, there's radiation that starts happening and it can damage you, right? So then you have to recover. So you have to go back into the ship, and you basically have to recover. And when you're in the ship, you can talk to your alters, you can play games with them. You have to like build a relationship with them,
Can you
because
romance
obviously
your alters?
you cannot romance your alters, buddy. You're disgusting.
Imagine.
You're disgusting. But essentially,
Would
but
you
it's
fuck
great.
me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah, man, it's
but
not
it's
disgusting. It's self love.
but it's like super cool because like I'm playing this game and I can think of Manu talking about how like he started playing that resource game there. Oh my god,
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory. And he was saying that like the only reason he started playing this game is because he could prove to his friend that he can like kind of make a more optimal setting than him. And I'm playing this game and I'm just thinking, I'm like this little voice and I'm like, oh man, if Manu saw this build, he'd be like, nope, I can make this better, I can
Don't
optimize
do
the
this
hell
to
out of
me.
this.
Don't do this to me.
But it's such a fun game. And again, so you know and going back to the altars, right? Like there's conflict between the altars, so you kind of have to come in and you kind of have to like get along with them, and you have to make sure that the base is functioning, you have to move it forward. um you have to also avoid getting burned by the sun, because you realize that the sun is about to explode and it's basically catching up to you. So you have to keep moving your base. So to move your base, you have to get resources. You need to gather resources like crystals, organics, food. You need to repair the ship because things can go down. So that's why you have a technician on board. So again, there's a lot of things you have to juggle. You're not just juggling resources, but you're also juggling these human beings at the same time. But yeah, so the gameplay loop is super tight. It's high stakes. As I mentioned, you're constantly racing against the rotation of the planet. Like if you're not careful, the sun is going to catch up to you, and then it's game over. Um, and there is a sense of urgency. There's a sense of pressure, and every single decision that you make, like you can piss off some alters, and they can go away. And then if they leave, then you've just lost your scientist. But you need your scientist to do research, right, to make the game easier for you. And so there's so many crucial aspects of the game, and even story wise, I feel like it's like you're getting them in little nuggets. But clearly there's the choices that you make in the game really do matter, because potentially your alters could die, they could leave you, as I mentioned. But yeah, the story is straightforward, but you can see that it's high stakes. And yeah, like I recommend this game to everyone, honestly. Like it's a super fun game. It's a hidden gem on Game Pass, and again, if it wasn't for Game Pass, I wouldn't even have downloaded it or bought it. But I'm really glad that I got to play it. So I'm enjoying it for the survival gameplay, the character drama, and the storyline. It's perfect for me because I love sci-fi, and it's definitely giving me that fix. And again, like, and I know that a lot of people will say like, oh, the choices you make actually, they do matter. But in this game, they really, really do matter. I've seen, gameplay of people being like, oh yeah, I lost this altar because of X reason, and now it's made the gameplay 10 times more difficult than it could have been.
Is it one of those games where it's normal to lose a run? Is it like is it did you is it normal to have like one continuous run, or are you expected to fail and learn and have several runs?
Uh, I think from what I've been reading, like I've had a lot of people, talk about how thankfully they had multiple saves, so they can like go back and like replay a certain run, or like sometimes what you can do is you can replay it, and then it'll tell you what the dialogue decision you had made previously, so you can choose the other option as well.
Mm.
And again, you have to make sure that they're not anxious. You have to tame their anxiety. You have to make sure that like they have enough food. So and again, and there is like an automated feature in the game where you can make sure that like, oh, we don't run out of food, right? Like, so we have to make sure that in our queue we always have like, let's say 5 raw foods, right? So you always know that someone is in the kitchen working on it. But when someone is working in the kitchen, that's something that that person is not doing. So the person could be mining minerals, for example, and you need minerals to create something or to expand your base. So there's a lot of like juggling and micromanaging that happens in the game. But so I think for me, again, like I'm just kind of playing it for the fun of it, and I'm playing it more for the story. And sometimes I do see when I wake up, it says that the sun is approaching in like 7 days, 6 days. It means that like if the game is telling you, hey, in 6 sleeps, if you don't get moving, you're gonna die, right? So I haven't reached that point yet, but from what I've read is that like it's I would say that it is expected for you to like fail, but
Mhm.
that's why you can just kind of like load your save. And like I haven't reached the point where like I actually die. I don't know what happens, but I'm assuming the game would just like loads to like a previous save and you get to try again.
So how many hours have you put into it so far?
15 hours into the game. I'm still in Act 2. I'm taking my time with the game. There's a lot of exploring to do because again, as you're moving through the planet, you get to walk around, you get to discover these anomalies. You have to build again, like I said, like you get to upgrade the tools that you have, and there's only 24 hours in a day, and you have to sleep as well, so you have to manage that too,
Hmm.
right? So it's a lot of fun. Like again, if you're into sci-fi, if you're into like a good story, and again, anything that's and to me, I'm surprised, a resource-based management game, like what the hell. But it reminds me of kind of like if I'm playing a board game, I have to be very conservative of what I have, and
Mhm.
be strategic. It kind of gives me that flavor, so I'm definitely enjoying it.
It's definitely a game I want to check out personally, but
Yeah,
maybe once I've settled with the move, I'll finally be able to sit down and play it.
it sounds like
Yeah.
it's right up my alley. It sounds
Yeah, I
like
feel like it's a
careful
money.
research, man. Takes like calculated risks, and yeah,
I
Yeah.
guess now you just have to wait for it to come on sale on Steam.
exactly. You got it.
You can get the achievements.
Oh dear lord.
If you didn't get the achievement for it, did you really play the game?
I mean, I only do that for games that I get fully invested. Like I'm playing right now. I'm playing Final Fantasy VI, and it's not one of those games I will most likely 100%. But
Shame on
um,
you.
I know. I bought the Pixel Remaster collection during the Steam sale. So it came with Final Fantasy One, Alta 6, and I told myself I would try to to attempt this year to try to finish as many Final Fantasy games as I can, just because anytime I play one of these games, I fully enjoy it. And I remember one of my coworker loves Six. I believe it's his favorite, and we went to a Final Fantasy orchestra concert, and most of the songs were from Six. Um, I think the soundtrack, even though I knew next to nothing about the game, was so good that I decided this would be the first one I played, and I understand why it's the favorite for a lot of people. It's just as soon as the game started, it hits you with Terra's theme, and Terra is the main protagonist, and you feel kind of lost in this world, I guess, just like she does. Every character you meet is extremely unique. They're all funny. They're all different, and the bad guy Kefka is just a piece of shit for absolutely no reason. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need a huge backstory explaining why someone went down this rabbit hole. No, Kefka is just a deranged jester who, I mean, I won't go into the backstory, but he just does whatever he wants. And in doing so, corrupts the whole world and destroys it. Um, yeah, I, I believe so far I have 15, 20 hours. I have 23 hours in Final Fantasy 6, and I'm close to finishing it. Um,
That's shorter than I thought for a Final Fantasy
yeah,
game.
this game takes about you can 30 hours I think to finish it. This game does something cool where I won't really spoil too much what happens, but the game is kind of split into like two acts. Act one is fairly linear. You know, you go from place to place, you recruit allies for your mission, and your goal is just to stop the Imperials, and i.e. Kefka. And then something happens, and you get thrown into Act Two, and that's when the game fully opens up. If this game has so many secrets that you it's not like extremely normal to like miss most of it. You expect to just kind of read through the lines and stumble across areas with the right party members to trigger specific events. The game goes from a fully linear game to a fully open world game, and at any point you can go ahead and go towards the end and finish the game. I've myself have been following a guide because they're just the game has so many secrets that I'm trying to experience them all. But yeah, I'm fully enjoying it. I should be done, I believe, by the end of next week. So I'm really looking
Is
forward to it.
is because you said you got the Pixel remastered. Is which one is the Final Fantasy game with the Onion Knights?
Uh, I believe that's four. I want to say
No, four's with Cecile or
that's
Kane or whatever.
five. No,
Pretty sure that's 4.
I could check this real easily.
Final Fantasy 3.
There you go.
And in Japan or in America? Because there's a difference.
Yeah. Um,
Lost me there.
'cause I personally been wanting to replay 4 and then also play the Onion Knights one. So maybe I'll pick up the Pixel Remaster for myself as well.
It's I'm just I mean you should. Did you are you planning on playing the one with Cecile again or just
Yeah,
Onion
I
Knights?
kind of do want to play it. That was
Okay.
a great
Yep.
story. But then there's also Tactics that they re-released on the Switch, and that's a fun time.
Yeah. No, I think right after this, I'm gonna tackle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in that order. I'm gonna go from the first to the fifth. I just want to play the sixth because I heard so many good things about it. But Taz, you should definitely check out 9. 9 is, I think it has the best character. Vivi. Vivi's my boy. He's just the best character. Um,
Yeah,
the theme of 9 is so good.
I think it's probably what I'm gonna check out right after I'm done with Hollow Knight. It's also like if it's something that I can just kind of sit on the couch and play, and you know,
It is.
it'll run on whatever my ally, all the better. Because then while
Yeah.
wife's watching TV, I can just play that.
9 is also pretty linear, so
Admittedly, it's like it has a good soundtrack, I guess, right? From what I'm not gonna be able to enjoy any of that because I just play my games on mute these days. So like the
I mean,
sadness of it all.
you can hook up some earphones or headphones or whatever to the Steam Deck.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like when I'm playing them on the couch, it's practically my side thing that I'm doing. So I'm playing it, but I'm also kind of obviously talking to my wife as well. So like I don't want to just be there in my own world with
Mhm.
headphones on because then I may as well just go and sit on the computer. So
I think it's one of those games where I would recommend you play if you can listen to it because the music adds so much to the emotional. Like,
I mean, Final Fantasy games, all of them really.
yeah, they all
right?
do.
Like, it's always they're known for their soundtracks. What's the what's like the sort of average play session that you would dedicate to this kind of a thing, right? Like if I have because like Final Fantasy games, I imagine there's like cutscenes and there's stuff happening,
Yeah.
and it's like, can I just save this at any point? Is that something that they've added with that remaster or the Steam version that they've done, or am I looking at like, oh, you better have like at least an hour and a half per
No.
session so that you can reach the next save point?
So a lot of them will have a quick save feature, so that allows you to kind of save whenever you want. 9 doesn't have a pixel remaster because it was never a pixel game. In the remaster, I believe you can. From what I remember, you should be able to have quick saves, but at most, I think they're generous enough that every like hour or so of gameplay, you'll have a place to go and save. Yeah, I remember I was able to I never had to worry about like, oh, I really have to finish this because I have to go.
Do they have? Because I know for some of them on Steam they added things like you can speed up the gameplay, skip encounters. They've added that kind of stuff to this.
Yeah,
right? So like,
when
if I
I
want to just kind of like blast through it a little bit, I can.
Yeah, so with 9, when I played it, they added the ability to do max damage, have essentially be God mode. So you have those options. In 6 right now, you have the option of increasing how much money you get and how much experience you get, which I have turned on because I will typically grind in game, so it just saves me the couple of hours I would have spent doing so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these days I don't have time to just sit there and grind. Like if I'm playing any game that I have the time to play, I need to make some form of progress.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes.
On my part,
Man, he's playing the moving game. He's playing Unpacking.
I honestly wish I could play more. I've been wanting to. I'm thinking about checking out the Edge of Fate Destiny expansion, which we'll talk about. It's one of our topics for today, and I did start as well randomly Slay the Spire.
Oh, Game Pass?
Yeah, and
game that one.
Yeah, and I've been enjoying it, but then I just had the craving wanting to play a Zelda game, and so I got an emulator and started playing Wind Waker HD, and my fucking god, does that game run phenomenal on PC.
You couldn't wait for it to come out on the Switch?
No, I couldn't anymore. Like I mean, I'm sure I'll replay it once it's out on the Switch, but I'm hoping I can finally finish the game. I think the game's been out for such a long time. People know how great of a game it is. There's not much that needs to be said about it. It's just a fantastic story game, a game that's very whimsical by like with its art style, and I'm ready to fall in love with that world again.
How
So,
far did you get?
I just got the Dragon Roost Island when you kind of get your shit kicked in by the giant bird.
You're playing
Dragon Roost-
the GameCube version?
This the Wii U version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so they had Wii U. That's the HD version that came out, right? And that's
Yes.
still running at 30 frames?
Yeah. Most it's only really the Switch 2 that started running games. Well, even the Switch at 60 FPS, but for the most part, it's always been 30.
Did you
surprised
get
they have
Wind
it
Waker
here.
yet?
What do you mean?
The I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
not yet. No.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it's funny. I have the actual copy of Wind Waker on the GameCube, and I have Wind Waker HD for the Switch, but I just don't want to plug in my Wii U.
Oh, you had the HD for the Wii U, not the Switch. Okay.
Well, it's not out for the Switch.
Because you said you had
Because you
the
said on the Switch, yeah,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I meant
on the Wii U.
for the Wii U and the GameCube.
You should honestly just buy a GameCube and experience it as is.
Or you can borrow
But
my
there's a lot of good quality like changes that they did with Wind Waker HD. For example, trying to get the Triforce shards, which is usually
Yeah.
the point where you stop playing the game. So I'm trying to maximize my chances of actually finishing the game.
It's not that bad though. I
It's
don't
really not.
understand why
I don't
a
know.
lot of people shit on that. Like it. Well, I mean, I did play the Wii U, and the Wii U did make it easy to like mark on your map, like every island you visited, and like what
Yeah.
you haven't done. So yeah,
I'm sure I will finish it this time because it's kind of like my personal goal of the year to actually finish that.
Wind Waker?
And yeah,
You've never finished it?
no,
I
I've
always
stopped
forget that, and I always find it ironic that you finished every Zelda game
more or less.
except Wind Waker, whereas Wind Waker is the only Zelda game I've ever
No,
finished.
I haven't finished Zelda 1, 2.
Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, yeah. But I always just find that funny. It's such a good game.
It is such a good game, but I always stop at this because like you're supposed to at one point get the Triforce shards and then you fight Ganon, and that's the end of the game. And it's always towards the end of the Triforce shards where I'm missing one or two that I just
Oh, that's
stopped
where I
playing.
had stopped. I was playing this game on GameCube back when like the GameCube was still like not when the game released, but
Mhm.
during the lifespan of the GameCube.
Right.
And when I got to and I was playing it and I was really enjoying it, and then I got to that point and I very distinctly remember going, "What the fuck?" And then I put that game down for like 6 months, and then one day I got a guide, like someone I got it from work, and then I was like, "All right, I guess I'll just use this and just get it out of the way." And it didn't actually take me as long as I thought it would, but still.
I'm surprised because legitimately the dungeon right after that. I mean, I don't know if it's spoilers, but you end up visiting the underground old Hyrule.
No, that's before the Triforce shards. Because once you get the 3 orbs, then you go to Hyrule. You get the Master Sword. You come up, and then you get the Triforce shards.
Oh, I thought you get the.
Sorry, it's you get the orbs, you get the sages, Triforce shards, and then you go fight Ganon.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so okay, I misremembered then.
Yep. Anyways, all to say that it will be finally completed at one point this year.
They
Oh,
laid
it's so cute.
Microsoft laying people off is far from cute, Manu, right? I don't know what your fucking sadistic ass mind thinks about people losing their livelihoods,
Oh my god.
but that shit's not gonna fly on Not Quite High Score.
Ugh.
For context, we're looking at Taz's new tattoo, but 9,000 jobs cut worldwide are on for like Microsoft and their kind of other different branches.
Perfect Dark reboot canceled, Everwild canceled, ZeniMax's next online MMO canceled, developments paused on the Forza Motorsport series, and that studio, whatever's left, is now going to support Forza Horizon.
It's such a normal thing to hear in the video game industry. And like I always feel like I'm becoming jaded hearing this news over and over, but it's like such a sad thing.
There's like nothing.
Like-
There's nothing for me to really say. I included this because I'm like, we'll just acknowledge it. But what what else is there? Honestly, like it's gonna keep happening. There's gonna be more, and that's it. Capitalism, number go up. That's all it is. Even Phil's memo when he told everyone that layoffs are coming, he's like, "Oh, we're fucking not exact words, but he's like, "We're doing great. We have more players than ever." Blah blah blah. And yet, y'all still gotta cut people. You know. So in the end, I don't know what it'll take. I'm tired of this. I don't even really want to talk about it because like it's just it's shit news and
I think
it's
I think
tiring.
one of the things that you had asked has in the is, well, it's like, how do you fix something like this, right? And yeah, obviously
You
we don't
don't.
have an answer, but I think to me,
The only thing that's gonna
what I
fix this is when another fucking asteroid hits this planet, all of humanity dies off like the dinosaurs, and we restart. And hopefully, that's this time around we'll do it right.
but it's like
I
when
mean,
I remember, like, but when I think about Xbox, right? Like to me, like Xbox used to have such a swagger because in the early 2000s, right? Like it was the underdog, right? And then they dominated with the Xbox 360, right? They were super competitive, they were confident, and it feels like that whole fire is gone because everything that comes out of Microsoft right now feels very safe, it feels very corporate, it feels very like muted. Like there's no vision, there's no hype.
You know
Like
how
it's just
like
like no Halo game coming out. There's no Gears game coming out. It just, to
there is
me,
a
it's like, how
Gears
do you?
game coming out.
Well, okay, sure, but it's like I don't know. I feel like they need to find that energy again, right? Like, how can you invest in all of these new? Like, how can you buy out all of these developers and then cancel out all the games that they're making? It's something that I don't understand. I guess like that rare game that was like in development for like 10 years and they had nothing to show for it, fine. I guess like at some point you have to like have a return on investment, but I don't know, I feel like
Like
I don't
here's
know
the
what it
crazy
is.
thing to me. Okay, you know when you look at an event and then you kind of go backwards in time and you can pinpoint the exact moment in time where whatever thing happened that led to then that event happening. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
how, Franz Ferdinand was murdered and that basically triggered World War One, you know? And I look at Xbox now and I feel like all of this goes back to when they're at an all-time high. Everyone's like loving Xbox. And then this is back when Don Matrick was still head of Xbox. And they go ahead and they announce the Xbox One. And it's basically they're touting how it's a TV box and there's all this like extra shit that it does and no one ever asked for because everyone was very happy with the 360 and they just wanted more 360 but better,
mm,
you know. And then they're just going on about how, oh yeah, but now it's also your TV box and you can watch TV and do picture in picture and do this, and everyone's like, no one gives a fucking shit. And then they're also going on about how like their titles are going to be sort of more on the digital side as opposed to physical, and it's going to have all this like authentication and all that shit that people didn't want. Like this is way before sort of digital titles on consoles took off, right? And then at one point someone asks Don Matrick and they're like, well, you announced all of this stuff and it's all very internet reliant. What about people that don't have either internet in their area or just a great connection to take advantage of any of this altogether? And then in his annoyed state, he goes, well, we have a console for that crowd. It's called the Xbox 360.
I
yeah.
remember that.
And I feel like the Xbox One is the point where that was the point of no return. That's where all of this shit started. That's where the reputation took a nosedive. The Xbox One sold like shit. PS4 just completely overshot anything Xbox ever tried to do. There was that video that came out not too long after the Xbox One was announced for PS4 where they're like, remember, I forget who the two people were. I think one of them was like Yoshida, and it was basically it's like here's how you can lend a game to a friend on PS4, and he just turns around and hands him the copy, and that was the end of the video. And like they were basically mocking the Xbox. And then what happens? Both consoles come out. PS4 sells like crazy. Xbox One general, and in general, Xbox has been behind ever since. And now all that has led to essentially what Xbox is today. They've continuously been trying to play catch up. They bought all those studios, shuttered a bunch of studios. Nothing. They announced a whole bunch of crap. Nothing ever really comes out. They buy Activision for almost 70 billion. They're closing studios afterwards, laying people off. And granted, now the discourse online seems to be that all of this, the last layoffs were done that kind of have more money to put towards their AI development. But it's just like,
Uh,
I'm just kind
Look,
of I'm tired of it. And there was even a story actually I was reading earlier this week where they had the people that got laid off at King were basically replaced by the AI that they had helped develop to essentially help them with their tasks.
yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I mean, look, if they want to fix this, it's not about releasing a new box. I think it's about releasing a reason to care for that box. Because like right now, they're not, it doesn't seem like they're putting the creators first. It doesn't seem like they're delivering real exclusives. And they need to stop acting like Game Pass will save them from everything. And I know, we all tout Game Pass. It's like one of the best services out there.
I mean, it's
But
obvious that
right
there's a
now,
price increase coming for that too.
yeah, but like right now, Xbox is a service that apparently has a console attached to it. It's not the other way around. So, yeah, I mean, I guess to answer that question, I guess if they have a lot of soul searching to do. Like, there's no real
I
way
mean,
to fix this. But
there's
yeah,
it's not just a Microsoft issue. I think it's also like a comment on the video game industry as a
video
whole,
industry,
with
yeah,
like how AAA games are being developed and the cost associated with it, and like the return on investment and all that. Like there needs to be a fundamental shift,
yeah,
and we've talked about this multiple times
multiple times, yeah.
since we started the podcast. And
But
so
here's the
until
thing,
we see
right?
that shift,
You look at Xbox right now, and they've already confirmed that they are working on another console, right? So let me ask you guys this: what is it? What does this thing do that would ever entice you to buy it? What does an
Uh,
Xbox console these days do that you'd be like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and buy this when literally everything that they make is coming to PC, it's coming to even other consoles. Everything is an
It's still a
Xbox.
but
cheaper
that's not even.
PC,
I wouldn't
but
be
it's
I'm not
surprised
even
if the
sure
next
that's
console is just a
specific.
PC.
Yeah, but that's.
yeah, but I
I was
agree.
gonna say I'm not even sure if that's specific to just Xbox. Because if you're asking me, like, oh, then how would I consider like the PS6 over it? I wouldn't really consider consoles anymore because the reason why you would buy a console, which was exclusivity, which is not really a thing nowadays.
It's not, but it's sort of like, yeah, fine. Sony releases God of War on PC, right? But outside
Yeah.
of buying a PC, if you want to play it on just a console on your TV, there's no other option but a PlayStation, right?
Well, so I think if it was a handheld device, kind of like what the Switch is, and kind of like they teased what they were doing, that would be something I'm more likely to consider because it kind of gets the best of both worlds, where it's portable, but then it's also you can play it on the TV.
Because there were rumors that it would support Steam, and that would be a big plus to them.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not even sure what that looks like. Like it's kind of I agree with Manu. Like it would basically have to be a form of PC because otherwise, what else is there? Everything you're releasing is coming out everywhere else. It's only a matter of time before you see Halo coming out on PlayStation. I can very much envision the Master Chief Collection on something like a Switch 2 at this point, even. So when there's nothing left that's really exclusive to Xbox anymore in any sense of the word, what's the incentive to buying your console versus a PlayStation versus a PC versus a Switch 2?
There's not
So
really. It's just an extra device in the market that you can choose from.
But
But
then that's
then
it. It's like why invest in it? Like what could they
exactly.
possibly be? You know what I mean? Like what could Microsoft possibly be doing? Like I don't understand. Like I very much look forward to them revealing whatever it is that they're working on because at this point I cannot fathom what they could possibly introduce that'll make me go, "Oh yeah, this actually looks really cool. I kind of want to invest in this."
I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft is changing how their approach to gaming and going full on the subscription service, and their next console is simply something they release on the side as an add-on for people that want to experience uh, the Game Pass, because I feel like they've been going just all out on the Game Pass.
But one thing they could do, it's like kind of merging the ideas. It's like if they did release a PC of sorts, and then you would have the ability to kind of like what's that PlayStation device where you can just like remotely play from your
The
uh,
Portal.
something like the Portal, or you can also like just directly connect it to your TV as well. So it's kind of like the one machine to be able to do like different types of gaming at home.
Honestly, I feel like their best course is literally release some form of a PC box,
Yeah,
right? Because
Yeah,
then you can play, I guess, the Xbox games. You can play whatever comes out on Steam,
Hmm.
and any game that comes out, all you would need to know is that it's, let's say, Xbox verified. And then you don't have to worry about, oh, is this going to work on my PC? Do I need to look at the specs or anything? If it's Xbox verified, kind of like how games now are Steam Deck verified, then you know that there's a chance of it running it, so you don't have to worry about it. And that
Unless they
automatically
also,
opens up a massive library of games, and then that might maybe entice someone to buy your console.
well, what if they did like a dual boot kind of machine where it's like you can either boot into the Xbox mode or you can boot it into like a PC mode, for
Well,
instance.
I guess. So they can basically just make a set-top box version of whatever there is, whatever they're doing for the ROG Ally X, right? Because
Yep.
it runs Windows 11, but it runs a more optimized gaming, variant of that, where it'll essentially, in the background, it's only running the most basic of basic shit to be able to run
Mm-hmm.
Windows and video games. But any other services that are non-essential, there's nothing being run. So you have the most amount of resources being devoted to gaming.
With Steam
So
support.
yeah. So, and on top of that, if that has Steam support and people know that they could play whatever comes out on Xbox, I guess. I mean, naturally, they'd want it to be Xbox verified if that's what they choose to kind of go with. And then on top of that, you have the Steam library. And then I could, let's say, even play whatever God of War or whatever other games on it, because it's an all-in-one, I guess technically. Then that might be something, because that's the only logical route that I see. Because if they don't do that, and it's another standard console, and it's the Xbox standard interface, and it's just another console from Microsoft, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
But then are we thinking that then to kind of like deviate, I guess, a tiny bit, like what do we think Sony is going to take the traditional approach is just coming out with another gaming console just
I
that
don't
is
see why
Seem
they
to
satisfying?
have
wouldn't.
no
I mean,
trouble
they
selling.
have. They're not in any sort of trouble. They're not lacking console sales.
Mm-hmm.
People associate a lot of good things with
Because
PlayStation.
if that's the case, then if Microsoft comes out with a new console that is kind of a PC hybrid, allows you to include any other launcher, just like how they're doing it with the ROG, I get the ROG Ally or whatever it's called, the new handheld, that would most likely decimate the market. Not in that, sorry, it would decimate the console war in favor for Microsoft. Because then why would
Yeah.
you even want to buy PS6?
Honestly, at that point, all that's left is your loyalty to PlayStation. If all you're doing is playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, like those kinds of games all the time, and
Mhm.
and whatever Sony releases, if you really want to play the next, whatever Wolverine game is coming out, if you want to play the next Spider-Man game, the next, whatever Intergalactic, the Naughty Dog game, like,
With an asterisk, like in the first year or two.
Yeah.
maybe, but there's nothing forcing them to release these games on PC either.
No, but nowadays, considering the cost of games,
Yeah,
it'd be dumb for them not to.
maybe,
Yeah, it's
but
just cost of production as well.
at the
Like
end of the
they,
day, let's say Microsoft releases that console, right? Like, who's to say that the best way to experience it still isn't necessarily on a PlayStation? Depending on the power of this console, and then depending on the power of what Xbox comes out with, and then on the power of whatever the next Sony console is.
Mm-hmm.
If the overall experience is better on the Sony console, then that's something that's still to their advantage, right?
Right, but then that also begs the question of the price point of these consoles. If one runs better, but then that'll probably come at its cost, and therefore we saw how people reacted with the Switch too. Like, I don't think
Maybe.
people are going to be willing to spend more money.
Then the other thing too is, now remember that there's a whole, there's the question of backwards compatibility, right? If I
Yeah.
have an entire library of games that I had bought on PS4 and on PS5, and I can still play those on PS6 plus whatever comes out there, then automatically I'm more enticed to also go for that, because I have an entire backlog of games. Whereas, if I was to get, let's say, the Microsoft console, yeah, fine, I have access to all of it, but then if I'm new to that ecosystem, I'm having to buy a lot of these things over again.
when are the next consoles estimated to release? Because they all follow like a similar release life cycle, right? Like
Yeah.
every 5-10 years.
I
I don't know
mean,
what the number is.
see, the crazy
Yes.
thing to me is, sorry to cut you off, D, but the crazy thing to me is, like, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X came out in, like, what, 2020?
Yeah, during COVID.
They're already 5 years old, but it feels like they're still relatively recent, and I feel like there's still nothing that's really demarcated these consoles in terms of a game. Like, there's no
Mhm.
killer app just yet. I feel like we haven't yet reached the peak of what these consoles are capable of.
I mean,
So
as I think that's also a question of like technology advancing. The more kind of it's harder to iterate, I guess, because it's not like we're jumping from like for example the N64 to the GameCube or like the
yeah, we're
Xbox to
never
the
gonna see
360.
those jumps again.
Exactly, and so maybe that's kind of why we're not really noticing it with these current gen consoles.
I mean, it's diminishing returns, right? And at this point, it's
Mhm.
also just like, how much better do I need my games to look now? Like where does improvement go now in these games? And I think it's probably going to be not necessarily graphical fidelity, but maybe more like world fidelity. Like you're giving me a big map, cool, but now it's going to be a big map that's full of actual, really interesting, cool things. A lot of interiors I can go into. It's a lot more fleshed out. It's a lot more alive. So like it's maybe that kind of direction that we're going into, and I don't know how much graphical power is going to go into that, but
Yeah,
still,
I
it's
think at this
just
point people just want to play a fun game and not maybe necessarily a game that looks great, and that's
maybe
why
because then also look at the game development cycles these days, man. Like games are so expensive and it takes so long to develop now that it's like you can't
AAA
just
games.
keep going. Yeah, but like that's what Sony is basically known for, right? If we're talking,
Yeah.
let's say PlayStation, so it's like how much bigger and how much more money are you going to want to spend in these games? And then eventually, this is also going to drive up the price of the games because already now they've gone up. And and it's a sort of like there's a breaking point. That's at a certain point now you've reached a wall, and now it's like, okay, now where do we go from here?
Hmm.
So I don't know. In terms of the next consoles, I mean, I'm guessing probably closer to like obviously closer to like 2030, or at least I hope anyways.
Yeah, I would. I think I would. The average lifespan is, I just looked it up, like 6 to 8 years. So maybe something next year we'll hear something,
Like
or
I
maybe
feel
something
like
in
the
2 years.
Xbox is going to come out way before the next PlayStation does, because I think the
Mm.
Xbox's situation's a lot more dire, and the Series X at this point, like I consider it practically a dead console. Like unless you're just buying it for Game Pass, which it's still a very good use for it. Like I don't know, Europe, it's dead. Japan, it's entirely dead. So all that leaves is North America. They've raised the price of it here recently, so it's like already it was iffy on whether you want to buy it or not, and now it's like, okay, I don't want to spend that much fucking money on it. And then recently the prices were kind of leaked as well for the Ally X, and it's looking like it's going to be like $1,500 Canadian.
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
You
That's
know
too
what I mean?
much.
And it's just, come on, guys. The Switch is $700, 800 after tax. Fucking games are 110 on the Switch. Like, give me a break, man.
Man, Nintendo is just in their own corner doing whatever the fuck they want, and it's working.
I forgot who
Is it
said it, but
though?
they're like, Nintendo is basically a law firm that makes video games.
Yeah, because well, I guess time to talk about our next subtopic. Basically, FBI has seized a major Nintendo Switch piracy site. So they have taken down NSW2U, which was known to publish Nintendo Switch ROMs. And
Which, I mean,
they've
that's
also,
the risk you're taking if you're fucking literally posting Nintendo ROMs.
yeah, but then Nintendo has also been targeting other piracy hubs as well. So subreddits, moderators, emulator developers, streamers, and all that. And I can understand them going after their current gen um, pirators, I guess. But then Nintendo is notoriously known of taking down older ROMs as well. And
Well,
how do
now that they're releasing, Nintendo 64 games like twice every 3 months, they're gonna go for those ROM sites. It's
I
Yeah, what
I
was
don't
I
your
know.
question, Manny? I think you were about to ask a question, right?
do we feel like them stomping on piracy sites, like especially the older retro games, does it do more damage than good to like the gaming
Not
community?
really, because if you look at the hardcore piracy community, they got backups, they got mirrors, they got
Yeah.
private Discord, they got Tor links, stuff that doesn't get taken down so easily. So, to me, the way I see it is that like these crackdowns actually publicize privacy more. It's they're always going to seek out alternatives. So, if you look at the average person that's going to download a few ROMs and move on, okay, whatever, big deal. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of what a Tor link is. I'm pretty sure you can figure out the rest of it without explaining people how that works. But yeah, like I mean, do I think that it does anything? No, not really. Piracy's always been there, and I think it's always going to stay. I don't know how much a Nintendo crackdown is gonna make piracy go away. Honestly, the one thing that like scares me is is if Nintendo starts baking activation keys into their cartridges, or even worse, requiring like always online authentication for physical games. That's gonna make piracy a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it would also suck for a legit consumer because, like, I mean, that model to me is very fragile. Like, think about it in another way. Servers can go down, accounts get banned, games can get delisted. I don't know. What if you're not on Wi-Fi? It means that you can't play your game anymore, right? Like suddenly, like your purchase is just gone. So
I mean,
the
Nintendo, you're
more
talking about
they,
the company that baked into their terms of service that they could break your console from a distance if you're not complying.
yeah, well,
Nintendo
I
doesn't
yeah,
care. Nintendo is they're after control. That's what they want. Like in my view, that's a big reason that they introduced something like game key cards. You know, if you look at the Nintendo Switch, games like Tears of the Kingdom and even the Breath of the Wild and like all these other big titles that came out, a lot of them were leaked before they ever released. Why? People got early copies somehow and they basically uploaded it to the internet. But if you look at something now where it requires activation before you can even play it, you can't play it before ahead of time. There's nothing else that you can really
mhm.
do if you have to authenticate. Look at Donkey Kong. There were a bunch of fucking videos already released. People were playing it on Twitch before the game actually came out because a lot of them happened to receive early copies in the mail because some people just broke street date. So Nintendo can look at that and they can be like, wow, well, you know what? For the next Mario title, let's do a game key card so that this type of thing doesn't happen and we can control when everyone gets to play.
I agree with you. Like the more they tie game ownership to online verification, like the more control they have. It's true. Like, but it's also at the cost of accessibility, right? So maybe it's gonna help Nintendo's fight of piracy, but I also think that it risks pissing off the exact people who are actually buying their games. Like it's a tricky balance, and like
What are you
knowing
gonna do?
Nintendo, they'll
What are you
yeah,
gonna do?
but I
Are you
mean
gonna
knowing
not play the next Pokemon? Are you gonna
Because
not play Donkey Kong? Are you gonna
I
not
thought it
buy
was
the next Zelda?
only I thought it was
yeah.
only
Third party?
third party games that
Maybe,
were,
but who's to say that that's not something that they'll do?
because like the reason why they've like the reason why third party publishers developers are using keys is because it's a lot more costly to get bigger cartridges.
Yeah, so I think by default they're being given like 32 gigabyte cards. I think.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but then also if we're looking at a lot of games nowadays are very big, so it's like you wouldn't necessarily be able to fit those. Just kind of like the whole, when you buy an Xbox or a PS game, it's like it can't fit on the desk, so there you always have to download it, and you can't trade. Like, I'm not trying to defend Nintendo, like I get people's gripe with it, but at the same time it just kind of makes sense because it's just a different format. Instead of disc, you just have cartridges, but they function the same way.
I mean, people are buying digital all the time on Xbox, on PlayStation anyways. So like it's really
Yeah.
no different than a game key card if you think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but at least the difference is with the game key cards, if you buy them digitally, you can now share them with friends instead of like if you're in the same family system.
I mean, yeah, but I
And
think the gripe with some people is with Nintendo they want the game on that and they want it to just be able to pop it in and play when they want.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I don't know why, but for some reason with Nintendo, like physical editions of games are still very big, whereas with let's say PlayStation and Xbox nowadays, like I'm pretty sure a large chunk of people do not buy a physical copy. But even then, sometimes with PlayStation, you buy a physical copy and it's still just a code inside the box. Like the physical box is
Mhm.
just it's an empty, it's just there for display.
But
But it's like
what's
you
stopping you
guys.
from just
I'm
downloading
sorry.
the game onto the console and just playing it from there? Because you mentioned like some people will want to just put it in a cartridge, but what's stopping you from just like downloading the game and choosing it from your home screen?
What do you mean?
No, I just because you said some people just want to have that easy ability of just put in your cartridge and start playing the game. But isn't that just the equivalent of once you buy the game, you can just download the game, and you
Yeah, but
don't
what
need
if
you.
like you
No,
don't
but
have it
if you run out of
downloaded and you don't have internet? Let's
or
say,
you run out of storage or something.
Mm,
like let's say hypothetically, internet's out, and I feel like playing this video game that I have. I can't just pop it in and play because
right.
you know
Okay.
what I
Yeah.
mean.
As
Like,
assuming you haven't already downloaded the game.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but even
Yeah,
sometimes if you
you're
have
on an
downloaded it,
airplane.
but also like there's times where even if you have it downloaded, they still want you to connect to authenticate, right?
Yeah.
So like there's still issues. Like obviously, we're lucky enough to live where we constantly have internet, so like we barely even notice that it's happening. And but it's still just at the end of the day, it's also just the fact that that game could just go away at any point as well.
What were we gonna say, Jasminder?
Oh no, no, I was just kind of like add to Taz's point. Like, I mean, like again, I agree with him. I think it's more like, yeah, what if you don't have the game downloaded already? Like, I could be on a plane, I could be on the road. I just like the idea of like, oh hey, like I'm going on a trip. Manny passes me his cartridge. I can just kind of plug it into my Switch and just play it. I think it's just the ease. The I was gonna say the easeability.
Yeah, but the
Usability.
problem is like this. The problem
Tired.
is this is like the easiest solution for them as a company to protect themselves from privacy, because that's where
Yeah, for
we
sure.
reached where there's no really other alternative solutions for them.
I mean, is Nintendo really suffering though? Like for real?
Well, no,
Just
but I
because I
mean,
pirated a
It's
copy
not
of
that.
like just because I pirated a copy of Tears of the Kingdom doesn't mean that I would have gone out and actually paid for any for it. Now, do they deserve it? Yes, it's a fantastic game, but like sometimes it's just this is not a game that I was ever going to purchase.
So you're advocating for piracy.
No, I'm just I'm just saying sometimes I'll play something just because out of convenience I can. It doesn't mean that I would have gone out
Yeah.
and paid for it.
or maybe you would have, because you would have heard everyone else rave about it. You're like, yeah, maybe I should check it out.
But you know what? There have been times where I pirated a game and then I went out and I bought it because I liked it that much. So it's not all bad. But you know what is all bad? Destiny these days.
Oh my god, Manny,
I'm in
Manny, what's
pain.
going on? What's going on with the with Edge of Fate?
So the Edge of Fate expansion just released. To honestly, I didn't even know that expansion was coming out, and
This man has a Destiny tattoo on his arm.
Mhm.
and so it has barely cracked 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. Just for comparison, the Final Shape, which was the last expansion, which kind of ended the Light and Dark saga, had over 300 concurrent players. And the Lightfall, which was deemed as one of the worst expansions in Destiny, also had at one point over 300 concurrent players. So what's going on? Because from what we hear, the story for that game is really good. There's good elements to it. There's also bad. There's like a mixed review going on Steam right now.
I just think it makes sense. It's normal for people to drop off, I think, when it's been the same game. I mean, you look up games like World of Warcraft, right? It doesn't have the same popularity it had at its peak, which is very early on. Over time, people kind of fall out. There are other games. I'm not surprised that this is where we're at. Like, sure, the expansion could be not as exciting, bare bone, but mixing with the newer games that are coming out and then the newer trends, like I can't say I'm all that surprised, especially with their last debacle, the Loot Palooza issue that they had.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like, this is just I feel like this is just normal.
And Jazz, like, do you care at all about picking up Edge of Fate? Because I don't think you played even Final Shape.
No, you're right. So I picked up Final Shape because it was $5 on Steam, and I wanted to play strictly for the story. So they had the whole collection. If you guys are curious, the Legacy collection was like 85% off or something like that. So I was able to pick up. I was only missing the Final Shape. Look, to me, there's a couple of things. I think the recent layoffs, the internal turmoil, the community misfires, they've kind of taken like a little bit of the shine off the brand. So the way that I see it is trust is low and the expectations are even lower. And what Destiny probably needs at this point, is a proper reset. And I'm not talking about it just like narratively, because again, I am someone that hasn't played Destiny in a year. I turned on the game, I kid you not, and 10 minutes later, I just turned it off because I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So not just narratively, but I think structurally, the game needs a reset. And I know that they're doing things structurally to make the game even more accessible. But I think that they need to rebuild the game around clear pillars. So one of them, to me, would be a strong PVE loop, a dedicated PvP support, like an actual dedicated PvP support, make maps, show the people that you care, and a story that actually evolves meaningfully. And whether that means that they need to take a little bit of a break and make Destiny 3, maybe take like a 2-year break and come up with like a bigger expansion. I don't know what it is. But I think that until then, expansions like Edge of Fate, they're, to me, it's like it just feels like content for the sake of making content and not actually to expand the universe. You're going to see more and more of a drop of a player base. So that's just my opinion, but I don't know how you see it, Manny, because you still play it.
From a narrative perspective, they are starting to delve. They like the Edge of Fate started the new saga, which has to do with the 9. But I think the general fatigue with players might be more associated, kind of what we saw with the Final Fantasy online game. Like
I was going to mention the
saga
same thing.
has ended. That's like a good dropping off point for a lot of players because they had the full complete experience, the full narrative experience, and then we also saw that with like Endgame as well, and with like when the Infinity Saga ended. I think we're at that point where it's like we're seeing these big payoffs, these I don't know how you would put it, like the time invested, this full complete run, and companies don't really know how to proceed with that, and it's kind of like almost undocumented because it's a more recent thing we've noticed that's been happening.
It's the exhaustion as well, right? After coming
Yeah, I
over
think so
such a
too.
big story, such a time investment on players' part and following the story, and it's like, where do you go from there? And
Yeah.
a lot of times, it's very difficult to follow up such a big expansion or ending with a brand new like story or saga, I guess.
But that's
Yeah.
why I
So
was very surprised that after Final Shape that they didn't actually take a break, and they went with episodes and then they went with Edge of Fate, because I think that like that would have been the perfect time to kind of go back and to look back into your community, because they have stripped back communications. They've sidelined PvP for years. Like, I think that this would have been the best part for them to be like, all right, we're done with Final Shape, we're done with this side of Destiny, right? Now we're going to focus on the community and see why the community is so wildly fractured. And I'm just surprised that they just went straight to the episodes and then they went with Edge of Fate, and it just, there's
I
that
mean,
fatigue.
it is, at the end of the day, they are a business.
Yeah,
They do
sure.
want to maximize on the revenue, and them not releasing any content, like a game like Destiny, unfortunately, needs that yearly content drop. It's not like WoW or Guild Wars or even Final Fantasy, where an expansion lasts a couple of years. It's like they need to constantly add content to not keep it from going stagnant.
Like,
Victims of their own success.
do you guys think it would have been a better call to sort of, as the story was coming to a close with Final Shape, right? So maybe like obviously a year prior, just start working on Destiny 3 so that a short time after you can at least announce that game, and now it's just sort of that big saga is over and now it's a fresh start with Destiny 3, and you can kind of have a different setting, whole new characters, and just sort of do something else that you wanted to do, and just, not have
It
to
it
follow
it
up on
would have
this
made
with,
more sense
you know what I
for
mean?
them
Like,
to
and then
start
it's
fresh
easier for new
almost.
players to come in too, because right now
Yeah.
it's just, from what I hear, the new player onboarding is absolutely abysmal. Like, it's such an overwhelming experience that players kind of dip out as soon as they dip in.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
And then, there's just so much to catch up on. There's so much to know. Whereas if you can just start with a clean slate, and I think everybody feels better about that. But now it's also like, let's say now they're working on Destiny 3 and they announce it. Do people care enough to even give Destiny 3 a try after everything
I
that
think
Destiny 2
I
has
would
done?
give
I
I would
think
give them
so.
the benefit of the doubt. I think if if they can avoid a Destiny 2 vanilla situation where it's like the game actually has taken things it's learned over the years and started fresh, and like it's not as daunting for veterans or new players to come into it, then I think yes, I think people would be willing to give it a shot.
And I think the message has to be really clear, like what Destiny 3 is going to be, right? Like they need to be very, very clear that like this is either a reset, it's a retool, we're gonna be focusing on these things, right? Like this is the roadmap. I feel like that way I think they can that way they can get like the I guess the approval of the fan base and get maybe some old players back.
So is there a Pokemon Presents coming up or what?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a segue for this. I feel like I'm usually better at this, but I could not for my life think of a segment for the next session, which is we have a Pokemon Presents happening in 2 days. Hopefully,
Jesus
this episode will be up by then.
Christ. It's July 20. I saw July 22nd on the rundown, and I'm like, okay, there's still a while away.
Same.
Nope.
At the bottom right where the 20 to
Where did this month go?
So we don't know much about the this Pokemon Presents. For sure, they'll be talking about the ZA that's supposed to come out in a couple months. And are we hoping for any unannounced surprises? Are we hoping for any remakes? Do you think they're going to tease the next generation? What are
You
we?
know-
Kind of what do we want to see from a new mainline Pokemon game?
Well, I think and maybe this is a little too early, but actually Pokemon turns 30 years old in February 2026. So February of coming up, it's 30 years old. So I think that it could be I think it could be the year of Pokemon, in 2026. So I think that they could do something really, really big. Like I think maybe Gen 10 could be announced, right? They could reveal like maybe the next generation of Pokemon. I know that like Gen 9, like with Scarlet and Violet, they only wrapped up the DLC last year, so it might be a bit too early.
Mhm.
But because it's also 30 years, I don't know if you guys knew that. Do you guys think that they're going to be doing something big?
They might do a like a collection game where they include probably several entries, some of the older ones.
They're
but
not
bundled
ever
together.
gonna do
I
that.
know,
What
I
are
know,
you kidding?
but-
Don't even
They-
don't even let yourself be fooled by the notion
But if
that
they
that's
did,
ever a possibility.
if they did, it would sell so well because
I'm
the
surprised
Mhm.
that they're not doing like an HD 2D remake of the original of like Red and Blue.
I mean, so I was thinking that I'm like, would I want like, or even like a full-on 3D remake of
Or
the
just
original ones?
or give me, Arceus, but it's Red and Blue.
But the
Mm.
thing is, we kind of saw that with the Let's Go games. So Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were
Okay, but
remakes
this time
of the
do it
OG.
good.
Oh, they
Let's
were
Go games
no,
are
fine.
not-
they were really well
they were
received.
well
though.
received.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't know. Give me
I don't know because usually Nintendo would tell you what the Pokemon Direct is about, so they're clearly going to be announcing some new thing.
So there's gonna be some
I
surprises.
wouldn't be surprised if it is Gen 10, just because it falls in line with when they announce like a new generation, especially with the show ending and everything. So it makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
are
know.
you
I don't know
guys-
anything about
Are you
Pokemon,
guys
so anyways.
excited? Like, would you guys pick up
No,
a Gen 10 Pokemon game?
no.
I always tell myself no, and then come release
I mean,
day,
I don't
go,
even have
whatever."
a Switch too,
I
right?
was gonna say I don't have a
But,
Switch too, but if I
uh,
did, I would say yes because I've enjoyed the Pokemon games, even playing them at 15 frames per second, and it was a terrible experience. There's just something about Pokemon games because I remember playing Pokemon for the first time on Taz's old computer in at his old home, right? And we, going upstairs and playing, I think Pokemon Red or whatever it was. I don't know, it has like a soft spot, but I would like them to also make like a Pokemon Coliseum. I would like them to remake or do like a spin-off or some sort of sequel or like a remake, as I mentioned, of those games. I don't necessarily want them to just focus on a mainline Pokemon game, but I think
mean,
it could be cool. Like
I feel like I enjoy the IP. I probably would be down to check it out, but I just feel like, and this is maybe just me, but I feel like every time I look at whatever it is that they're doing, like it doesn't seem ambitious enough based on what they're capable of doing.
I wonder if I wonder if they'll announce a Pokken 2.
I don't think anyone.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a new fighting game.
Yeah.
Because they
'Cause-
had that for on the Wii U, I believe.
Yep.
And
it did
it
well.
it did
It
really
also came
well.
around the Switch.
Yeah. So a
I don't
new
know why
one.
they
I
don't
think.
branch out. You know,
Like
like
what else?
why can't there just be? Give me like a Donkey Kong with like a fucking Geodude or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like kind of take some of the more popular Pokemon. Let me play as the Pokemon on their own kind of an adventure. Like why don't you just do something a little
Those games
more?
exist.
Yeah, it's called Super Smash.
No, Manu, the Mystery Dungeon games.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Do you guys remember Gale of Darkness, Pokemon XD?
Gale?
Okay.
No.
Yes,
All right.
that was on the GameCube.
Yeah, the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
I mean, yeah, go for like a more narrative game where it's you don't need to have every fucking Pokemon in it. There's no Elite Four. There doesn't need to be online
Pokemon,
They
features.
did that. It was Detective
Pokemon
Pikachu.
Souls like.
Did it what?
They did do a narrative Pokemon game. It was called Detective Pikachu. They also had a sequel on the Switch.
Okay,
I'm pretty
Detective Pikachu isn't like an actual Pokemon game. You're not actually fighting Pokemon in it.
Sure. Okay.
It's
We're
like
not doing that in Mystery
you don't have
Dungeon
to
either.
yell, man.
I thought you did.
Is there fighting in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
Mystery Dungeon.
I've never
you're
played it,
fighting other
actually,
Pokemon.
so-
And you're using Pokemon to fight other Pokemon.
Okay. So okay.
Have you played a Mystery Dungeon game?
I have not actually.
Okay, well, so you're pulling it out of your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, something we are excited about, and we are gonna check it out day one. Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh yeah, we've already made plans. We're gonna go to the cinema. We're gonna watch this all together.
Yeah.
I think, to me, just very quickly, just as a fan of the '90s, even Mortal Kombat
The
2,
only fan here.
the only fan of the '90s. No.
Never played a Mortal Kombat game a day in my life, boys. I don't know
compared,
what.
no, but compared to like the 2021 reboot, I don't know if you guys got the same vibe. First of all, the trailer gave me the because it just felt like it was less serious. It was more colorful, more brutal, just more akin to the 90s movies. Because when the 2021 reboot came out, and I actually went back and I checked the trailer for it, the whole dark, grim, Mortal Kombat, that's kind of gone. And to me, they're kind of bringing back this like cheesiness, the over the top, CGI fatalities, which, yeah, kind of spotty at some point. But yeah, like the fights to me look better choreographed. The characters feel iconic. I know people were complaining about why Jade is bald, and they're kind of fixated on that. Or why Kano doesn't have his metal thing, for his eye. But it's amazing to finally get the tournament this time, because the first movie didn't have that, right? And I don't think any one of us is looking for like an Oscar worthy movie, but I think we're just kind of looking for like super clean fights, dumb one-liners, and just awesome looking fatalities.
I
And
mean,
just
the movie
based on
definitely had those cheesy one-liners.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think based on the trailer, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Like this movie is going to be so hilariously bad, but also entertaining, and I think that's kind of what we're all looking for.
I don't think it could be worse than this Mortal Kombat 2 that came out.
Oh my god,
I
that
think-
Sindel line
Back in the-
is
yeah.
just amazing.
I think I speak for all of us when we say we're just happy that we saw very little to no Cole in that trailer.
Dude, I guarantee you, like in the first 10, 15 minutes, he's gonna die. Like
They're
they're
gonna
gonna do the whole.
I don't
They're gonna
even
do the
want to
Johnny
see him.
Cage.
I don't even want to see him die. I just want to see text appear on the screen saying Cole died, and then the movie starts.
It's gonna be like in The Simpsons when Poochie has to he's like, oh yeah, I have to go back to my home world planet, and then he just flies off. You guys remember that from Itchy and
Yeah.
Scratchy? Yeah, it's gonna be
But,
like that basically.
no, honestly, the movie looks good. I enjoyed the first one. I saw it like 3 times. 'cause-
It was fun. It was a bit campy, but I think that's kind of what we went in expecting.
yeah, and this looks really good too. I'm happy with Carl Urban's portrayal of Johnny Cage. I think it's pretty accurate
It
to
works.
the character. It works. The CGI, I admittedly I remember when because I was watching it as the trailer was showing after the countdown. And then at the end of it, there's like the fatality on Noob Saibot, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
that looks.
God.
I was like, that looks fucking terrible. But it's also like I don't care because I'm getting what
Yeah.
looks to be a cool Mortal Kombat movie, and like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I was
know,
about to say, the CJ somehow looks worse than the first one.
it does.
Okay, so
But
I'm not the only one. Okay.
at the
It's
same
also
time, for every complaint you can levy against it, like, oh, the CGI looks bad. I'm like, yeah, maybe it does, but you know what? I'm getting fucking Mortal Kombat 11 Noob Saibot with his sights. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
And
yeah.
I'm getting Noob Saibot. Period. You know, and you're getting all these other characters. Right, Raiden looks exactly like he does in the second Mortal Kombat game. Like he has that full on the costume, the same exact one. If you're watching the trailer, you can pinpoint certain levels from the video games that are pretty much remade as is, which you almost never get to see really, and whenever it comes to like a theatrical adaptation. So overall, I mean, it really looks like it's doing justice to the franchise, and I'm excited to watch it. Like I think it's even if it's
Does
not great, I think it's still going to be a great time, and
does
that's
this
Congrats.
really all that you can ask for from this game, from this movie. Because I mean, it's like Josh said, no one's expecting an Oscar worthy anything.
d-
I want to go in and
does
have a good time.
I think
does
I'm more
this
excited about this movie than I was about the last game.
does this give you guys more hope for the Assassin's Creed show that's coming out?
That's a good segue right there.
You know,
Bye.
okay, I love this because I feel like Taz and I are gonna maybe eat this up. I don't know, Taz, how you feel about it, but as a fan,
Here's
like I would say
here's
we're hyped, but I'm also
here's
cautiously optimistic.
here's like my exact, like with no exaggeration whatsoever. Here's here's me when I saw this headline. Okay, I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I see Netflix approves Assassin's Creed TV show, and I barely even register it in my mind, and I just keep scrolling.
Oh wow,
I
okay, I'm
I
surprised.
like this series a lot. I cannot possibly overstate how much I do not fucking care for a Netflix show for this franchise. I have zero faith that it's going to be any good. I have just the absolute bottom of the barrel, like underground expectations for whatever this will be.
I think for me, fine, then that's fair. I think like I'm still cautiously optimistic because of the heavyweight TV writers that they have roped in, right? Like we're talking about, Westworld, Sons of Anarchy. We're talking some really really good writers, and the fact that they're going to be focusing on multiple characters, across different historical events. I'd love to see again Templars versus Assassin. I'd love to see Ezio Altair, in these episodes, but I don't know. I'm like I said,
I think they're going for this because they saw that, let's say The Last of Us was a major success, and they're like, oh,
yeah.
video games can be that, and they certainly can. I don't think Assassin's Creed is that, because at least with The Last of Us there was a certain grounded element to it, whereas this is basically just, give or take, sci-fi, and even
Mhm.
then the subject matter I don't think is anything that a lot of people are going to connect with. So like I just think those are two things that might prevent it from reaching any sort of a success. And I mean, you know it seems like it's such a slam dunk and such an easy thing that it would be popular based on the whole concept, right? But then you look at the Assassin's Creed movie that came out and that just completely bombed and it was terrible. And I don't know, man. Netflix doesn't exactly have a great track record for this kind of thing to begin with. So like from all standpoints, I'm just like I don't, that's what makes it that I have no faith in this.
Would you have more faith if it was given to another
If
like
HBO told
studio?
me that they're doing
Yeah, if
this,
HBO
if
did
this was
it, yeah.
HBO, they have such an amazing track record that I would at least give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'd be like, okay, cool, they might be capable of doing it. But I think Netflix these days, to me, like that name means nothing. Like, yeah, for sure, sometimes they come out with bangers, but I think Netflix does a great job when the shows that they're releasing, they're not releasing them for the purpose necessarily of, oh, this is going to be a great hit. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
they came out with Squid Game. They didn't even expect it to blow up the way that they did, and then the subsequent seasons I don't think were as greatly received as the first one was. Because why? Well, the first one came out, they saw that it's popular, and now they're just throwing money and all sorts of shit at it. And now you're gonna get the American adaptation, and you're gonna get all sorts of other shit. But it's just sort of like when Netflix looks at something and they're like, "Oh, we see money in this," and they try to make it big. I think that's when they tend to sort of just not succeed.
See, that's what confuses me. I feel like sticking with the Ezio story is the safest bet, and really, it's hard to kind
100%.
of screw up, assuming you stick with the source material. But part of me is also worried that if this does exceptionally well, there'll be many other seasons with different assassins, and that's when that it'll get to a point where it'll just get kind of like worse.
Yeah, but that's just the natural course of these things. Like
Hmm.
they see money and they're gonna milk it. Anything, any franchise. You know what I mean? Like Fallout came out, the first season was great. Now they're working on another one, and then at least with that, the benefit is it's not really based on the games in any other way except that it's in the universe. So that has a good chance of succeeding. Whereas with this, if you're
Hmm.
basing it on the games, then after a certain point, like okay, well now where are you going with the story?
When you mentioned the movie, I felt like a game so vast like Assassin's Creed and so rich in story, it couldn't have been a good movie. I feel like it's more adapted to like a like a TV show treatment, right? Like
Maybe,
a
but
10
even
episode.
if you look at the video games, like they've lost the plot, man. Like Assassin's Creed,
Yeah, well,
yeah, there was
that's why.
always
Yeah,
the assassins, but the overarching thing was always the animus and the fight between the
yeah.
Templars and
Well,
the assassins in modern day, right? But like that's barely even a factor in the games anymore. Like it's still there because it kind of has to be because they started it with that. Now they're kind of backed themselves into a wall. But I think
yeah.
if you play the games now, like you're basically playing it for the assassin, and like that's it. Everything else is just sort of shoehorned in for the sake of it. So like if the stories in the video games are like that bad, then maybe that gives them leeway to make it better and kind of take their own liberties to improve upon it, for the Netflix adaptation. But I don't know. I just personally don't really have much of an interest in this anymore. Like I can't even say I have much of an interest in the franchise. Like I play it because I like the gameplay loop, but once upon a time I played it because I also really wanted to know what's happening with the story. And now these days, like holy shit, I
Yeah.
have no fucking clue what's going on.
Well,
As
I can
someone
tell you. Yeah, sorry, go
as
on,
someone
Manny.
who has never played an Assassin's Creed game, um, I'm kind of like approaching this with the like, oh, what if it was kind of like Doctor Who, where it's like an anthology series, where it's like every every Doctor has like 1 to 3 seasons, and it follows his journey, and then this would be cool, where it's like you have the different assassins spread over like a season to three, and then it kind of wraps it up, and then it focuses on the other one.
I mean, that's what the first few games were like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and as Manu, said, you can't go wrong with Ezio. I feel like Ezio is probably like the most, recognized assassin out there. Probably has the best storyline, and again, Taz, you're right. Like the modern day stuff is divisive, but it's still part of the DNA of what makes an Assassin's Creed game an Assassin's Creed game. So I think that they can definitely kind of do. Yeah, I mean, you guys all bring some great ideas. You can start with Ezio, do like 2 seasons with him. Do the whole Desmond, Animus thing. Kind of bring that in slowly, and do it sort of like in an anthology format, like Doctor Who, right? So spend 2 seasons in Italy, and then you can move to, I don't know, like feudal Japan, or like or how they did it with the native. I
Or
forgot
the
his name.
Vikings.
Yeah, Connor, I think, what was his name, or
Connor. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, or the Vikings, because like that was also well received. That was a great story. But Taz is right. I feel like they lost the plot. I played the last Assassin's Creed game. While I did enjoy playing in feudal Japan, I can tell you that the story was the worst part of the game. Right, and there was nothing, redeeming about that story. The characters were great. It was fun playing as, as a real samurai, like a badass, like uh, heavy set samurai, and then a shinobi. But again, I didn't really play it for the storyline. So
I mean,
again,
like
as a
we're
fan, I'm
also like
cautious.
we're also talking about this as if it's easy, right? Like sometimes it's just
No,
it might seem like a slam dunk on paper, but in the end, I mean, look at Halo, dude. That show came out and like, oh my god, it
oh
was
my
so
god, that was
bad.
so bad.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
why did you have to make these changes? What did you guys why did you go ahead and fuck this up as bad as you did? All you had to do was literally follow the games. Why did Last of Us do so well? That fucking first season is literally the video game brought to life. They changed little to nothing.
And I think there could be also the factor of I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it because I blanked that at one point, but like um the Assassin's Creed movie that came out with Michael
Yeah,
Fassbender.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, Taz did mention that. Yeah, I mean, it
So
did burn a lot of us.
that's it, and it's like people are probably coming into this with hesitantly a bit of distrust, and so
But they also just I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like these studios tend to do the dumbest things, right? Like if you look at the Assassin's Creed movie, the one you just mentioned, something as simple as the animus. In the video game, you go, you lay into it, you kind of jack in or whatever, Matrix style, and then that's it. You're laying there and you're reliving the memories. Something that simple and that's perfectly fine, and no one would have like questioned it. But then why in the movie did you change the animus to be this giant fucking robot arm that floats from the ceiling and you're literally having to perform the actual movements with your body as your ancestor that you're reliving is doing them? Like,
yeah,
why
that
did you
was.
even have to go through such a thing? Why did you invest money into doing this fucking thing as opposed to being like, yeah, no worries, buddy. Michael Fassbender, you come over here, you lay here, and then we're going to record you laying here, and then this is how you're reliving the memories just like in the game. Like, why is that something that they felt like they had to change? And I feel like this is the kind of thing that they do with a lot of these things, and they fuck it up. They make changes when they don't need to. And, same thing with this. Like, let's say they're doing the Ezio saga, fine. But you know that they're going to change some bullshit up, and it's going to be like, this didn't need any changing. If you had just stuck to the plot and the characters and the flow of the video game, you would have been perfectly fine. Those games are cinematic in and of themselves.
And you know what? As much as we're skeptical about it, who knows? Maybe they'll release a trailer and it will be the polar opposite. And we're like, holy shit, this actually looks fucking amazing. But
What are they gonna do? They're gonna get fucking Chris Pratt to play Ezio. Like.
Oh my god.
yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I hope it does turn out to be good because in the end, I mean, who doesn't want to have a good show to watch, right? But
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's just it's so hard to have faith these days in this kind of thing. Because you know that if they're building this up, they're not doing this, oh, let's make the best series we can. It's number one in mind is, oh, there's a ton of video games and we can adapt them all. So let's do the best that we can to make sure that we get the opportunity to have all these seasons and make all this money.
Well, yeah, we're
Mhm.
also getting Street Fighter.
Yo, that movie cast is a fever dream, dude.
I
It
I can't
is.
take it seriously.
The biggest
I feel
joke
like
ever.
If the only way that I see this succeeding is if it is as campy as the 1992 or whatever movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because there's no way that you can have the cast that this movie has and be serious. Like,
I
come
think they're
on,
gonna pull a rug and be like, okay, that's not the cast. Here's the actual cast of the movie. Because there's no
Oh
way that
no, I'm pretty sure it was like
dude.
announced like
It's
by
I
Variety
cannot.
and
I like sometimes I'll be browsing and I'll come across someone and they're like, "Yep, here's the Street Fighter cast again," and they'll post the photos, and I'm like, this feels like.
it's just a bunch of wrestlers.
Dude, I
It's
don't
weird.
understand. Cody Rhodes is playing Guile.
Yeah, well,
Jason
he looks like a
Momoa.
guile.
Jason Momoa is playing Blanca.
Roman
Roman
Reigns.
Reigns is Akuma. I don't know the
Yeah.
guys that are playing Ryu and Ken, but like they just whatever. They could
Who,
probably do a
who's the
good
Rock
job of
playing, Taz?
dude. I don't know.
Chun Li.
Like,
Chris Pratt is playing Ryu. So
Oh my god.
dude, The Rock is
That's
probably gonna be fucking Sagat. Like it's just, I don't know. This,
actually, that could work. That could work.
yes, but I greatly dislike The Rock as an actor. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he's not. The Rock plays The Rock.
The
Like,
Rock
it's
plays The
just-
Rock. The Rock also voices The Rock.
The Rock just cosplays
There you go.
they're gonna have
professionally.
Kevin Hart play Bison or whatever his name is.
The Rock
No,
is
he's
just,
gonna play Dalsim. Kevin Hart is Dalsim.
God.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's like they could have gone with Mortal Kombat. Like having these like unknown actors play these iconic characters. But I guess with Street Fighter, they're just going big with all of these random ass,
Dude,
wrestlers
I
that are
don't.
gonna come
I
in.
can't. Like I. On one hand, I'm dreading this movie, and on the other hand, like I cannot fucking wait. Like it's
Yeah.
just
We should go watch it.
this
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
is
let's go.
really
Trainwreck.
like I don't know. It's gonna be either amazingly bad or just bad. Like I don't know, man.
Manu, why are you so like adamant on not watching it? It's not like Kojima's like linked to this. Come on,
Don't
now.
even mention that, man. Don't even fucking mention his name.
Lord.
And Roman Reigns is Akuma. Like holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, thanks for listening to another episode of Not Quite High Score. You guys can email us any questions, suggestions, comments at notquitehighscore@gmail.com. Christ. You guys can also check out the video podcast at notquitehighscore.com. It'll link us to our wiki page.
Not quite high score. Christ at gmail.com.
That's the exact email. You guys can also talk to Taz on our Blue Sky account, which is NQHS Podcast or...
No, just not quite high score.
All right, there you go.
Send us an email. Tell me what your casting is for Assassin's Creed so I can shit on it next episode.
Willem Dafoe.
Yo, I like
Wait,
Willem Dafoe.
apparently 50 Cent is also.
Oh yeah,
in
he's
this
playing
better.
Balrog.
Actually,
What is this, man?
yeah, that works.
Which
That
I'm
works.
like, man, yeah, I guess that's honestly that's not the worst casting. But
Yeah.
dude,
Oh well.
this movie's gonna be so funny. And not because it's a comedy. Like
It can't be worse than it can't be worse than Cats.
I mean, you know, it's it might set the new standard. Who knows, man?
Jason Momoa as Blanca. He's just gonna play himself. Like Jason Momoa plays himself all the time. So he's gonna be like this like surfer dude that just kind of
Happens to be green.
happens to be green and like just yells. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Well,
Who's making this
he's
movie?
playing Lobo now. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, he
in
looks
this
like a
movie.
Lobo.